done well. In a very short space of time, you were able to come up with something that it takes some people a lot of time or a few years to get to where you got to in a very short space of time. So I would want to appreciate you for that. That is number one. Number two, virtually all of you were doing the same thing. That was because you were using the same template. And none of you thought to use your own initiative. Well, some of you did, some of you didn't. And we kept having the same phrases. Thank you for doing marvelously well. Thank you for that wonderful response. It became monotonous. You were all sounding the same. And you are talking to your students, you're talking to learners. What you ought to be doing is commending them, not thanking them. What are you thanking them for? Basically, when they give you a correct answer, it's supposed to be, use words like good, excellent, very well done. Not thank you. What are you thanking them for? That is something I noticed, and virtually almost all the groups repeated that particular point. Now, I actually jumped and skipped something. The very first part, the very beginning. Now, someone made that observation here about what someone else, the last group, she said, good afternoon, which someone pointed out was not in line because this is an audio podcast. You don't know when that person would be going to listen to that particular audio broadcast. So the issue of good morning, good afternoon, or good evening is out of the question. That's number one. And number two, the only group that didn't do that which was on the sample that you were given, which is good day. Virtually all of you used that. Good day. In standard English, good day is not a greeting when you meet someone. You only say good day when you are leaving for the day. When you are leaving for the day, that's when you say good day. Not when you meet someone for the first time and you're saying good day. Hello, welcome to this episode. Simple. It eliminates the need for all that. Just simply say hello and welcome. At whatever given time that person is listening, it is in line. But that word, good day, is not a greeting. It's only in Nigeria. And this is something that is going to international. It's going beyond the borders of Nigeria. So we are claiming to be teachers, and already the first thing I hear when I open your podcast is, good day. By the time you say that, I'm gone. So please, that is also something you should have at the back of your mind. When you start, it's simple. Hello and welcome to this edition of the program. It solves everything. And then you introduce yourself, introduce the title of the program, and then you go into the lesson. Now, I know part of you, one other thing I noticed, a lot of you have a problem flowing with whatever it is you had written. So it was a bit disjointed. But like I said, this is something that, practice makes perfect. It's a gradual process, but you have to start somewhere. And one of the major things I tried pointing out to most of the groups is you use simple English. Simple sentences. It doesn't matter even if you are writing for JS3 or JS2 or JS1. Do something that even a primary 4 pupil will listen to and grasp what you are trying to talk about. Like I told some of you, he or she does not have the liberty of writing down the word and going to check it up in the dictionary. He probably didn't even hear your pronunciation correctly. So how is he supposed to know which word you actually said? Now we had a little bit of that in one group when we were supposed to use the word heard. H-E-A-R-D. But unfortunately, someone was spelling it as had, H-E-D, because that's the way that person was pronouncing the word. Have you heard of this? Instead of heard. So that was exactly what happened. That also brings us to one other thing. Some of you actually use your normal voices, which is the best thing for you to do. Some of you try to anglicize your pronunciations. It is wrong. You are not a white man. I am not a white man. I'm not English. You are not English. We are Africans. We have our own way of intoning words. We have our own way of saying words. By the time you start trying to sound so much like a white man, you sound so fake and phony that you miss the message of what you are even trying to put forward. Why? Because you're so busy trying to bend your tongue to sound like a white man. And you are not, and you can never be. So the first rule in presentation is be natural. Be yourself. Don't try to be white. You are not. But try to make sure you pronounce every word the way it should be pronounced. That is all. And you are safe. So let me not take too much of your time, because if we continue, the English lesson will last from now till probably the end.
One or two questions. ETC and so on.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Let's come to the point of etc., etc., etc. Now, I told some of you that in broadcasting, we try as much as humanly possible to avoid that. You are listing a couple of things. For example, air, ball, whatever, and then you come and you say, etc., etc. We try to avoid that. Now, the safest words for you to use, and so on, and so forth. But the mathematician has pointed out something. Most of you are saying, and so on. And so on means till infinity. And you're talking about something that is tangible, something that you can count. Sources of water, for example, which are actually either man-made or natural. And then you also have classifications for those. They are not infinite. The only thing that is infinite, according to the mathematician, are numbers. I still disagree with him on that. But that is a different issue entirely. So to be on the safe side, instead of saying etc., etc., or etc., or so on, you simply say and so on, and so forth. There's a limit. You put the word and so forth.
And among others.
Well, I'm among others, and others. But try as much as possible to avoid etc.
Thank you very much.
Can we clap for this? You want to ask question or you want to say something? If you know something,
The first presenter, the English people, after introducing himself, he had to mention the sponsor of the program. I thought it's enough to just introduce yourself as the presenter and not to mention who the sponsor for the program is.
Well, it depends. It depends on the format that you are given. It depends on the format. You can either mention the sponsors either before, which was like in the initial stage in the introduction, or at the closing. You can simply say this is a production sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission in collaboration with the National Teachers Institute. It is allowed, but it depends on the format that you are given to work with. That is number one. Number two, I also just reminded me of something. Virtually all of you were talking about the first series of the first edition. You were also getting yourselves confused, not to mention me, by using series and edition interchangeably. And then we'll say series, first edition, episode 1, episode. You are getting yourselves confused. Well, that one will be resolved later. We'll take care of that one when the time comes. But it depends on the time you are given to present that program. Most of you were limiting yourself to the first objectives, whereas you had more time where you could go on to the next one. But you just limited yourself to the first objective, because that was what was done in the sample you were given.
Even though we went ahead to tell us, based on his question, that you can go
You
for
can go further and take 2 or 3 of the objectives depending on the time frame given for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Can we clap
For
for
this very enlightening
Another Baban Tapi. Another Baban Tapi.